Welcome back to Sir Epic Comedy. Today, there's a new movement. It's called the Bicycle Awareness Movement. We are trying to educate people on bicycles. And there's a few things that we'd like to accomplish today. First off being, try to convince you to understand that bicycles exist. They exist. They literally, truly exist. Did you see? Look, that is a bicycle. That is definitely a bicycle. That's what a bicycle looks like. They have two wheels, a seat that gives you a sore bum, two handlebars, one handlebar, two grip pads, and supposedly two brakes. But that is a basic rundown of what a bicycle is. If you do not understand that, go look it up. Do the research for yourself. You'll see that I'm right. You can prove me right. I can prove myself right. Bicycles exist, and no matter what you say to try to convince me otherwise, I will always stand to this true conviction that bicycles do indeed exist. You know why? I have one in my garage. I ride it sometimes. Bicycles exist. I cannot ride something that doesn't exist. I cannot own something that doesn't exist. Therefore, bicycles exist. But not only do bicycles exist, but bicycles are not vehicles. A lot of people do not understand this. Bicycles are powered manually by pedaling the pedals, turning the handlebars, and applying the brakes when needed. Then again, if you don't have any, you can't apply any brakes. But bicycles are not vehicles. They don't have a motor unless you attach a lawnmower motor to your bicycle and put on some mini bike engine. But bicycles are not vehicles. Naturally, when they're sold, they're not vehicles. Which means that they shouldn't be acting like vehicles. Which also means that other people that drive vehicles should respect the bicycle. Because they're not on the same level. Just like when there's a car crash, oh, it's just another car. Well, bicycle's completely different because it's not a car, it's not a vehicle at all. Bicycles are not vehicles. Said no one ever, oh, your bicycle's out of gas. No, it's out of manpower, it's out of energy. Excuse me, woman power, person power. Bicycles are not vehicles. I cannot reiterate this enough. There's a reason the bicycle doesn't take up the whole space in my garage, is because they're not a vehicle. They stay off to the side. They're not vehicles. But more than that, there are people riding these bicycles. Wow, that is deep. A lot of people don't understand that. When they see a bicycle riding along the side of the road, it's not just the bicycle. There's a person riding a bicycle. You sit on top of the bicycle, you pedal it, you steer it, you apply brakes if you have them. There are literal, actual, physical people living in this reality, unless they're texting or listening to music, that are riding these bicycles. You need to understand that. You need to respect them because there's a human being on top of those two-powered, two-wheel machines. Not even a woman-powered, person-powered machine. There are people riding these bicycles. Now, I want to give you an example of someone who didn't understand that people rode bicycles. There was a sports car. Well, there was a bicyclist, and he was riding down the side of the road, sticking his thumb out, trying to get a ride, because he was far away from home. He was trying to get a ride. And for 3 hours, no one would give him a ride until a sports car came along and said, oh, I'll give you a ride. But his bicycle wouldn't fit inside the sports car. And so he had a rope in his car, attached the rope to the bumper of the sports car, and attached the other into the bicycle. And he says, okay, if you go too fast, just ring your bell, and I'll slow down. So they're driving along, and everything was going pretty fine until the person driving the sports car saw another sports car come whizzing up behind him, and of course, put his foot down, put the pedal to the metal, and took off. Now, they're driving pretty fast, about 150, when they drove through a speed trap, and there's a police officer with a radar gun. And so he called ahead to another police officer, and he said, "Man, you wouldn't believe this. There's two sports cars heading your way, going 150, but would you believe it, there's a cyclist behind him, turning on his bell so he could pass them." Sports cars didn't understand there's a bicyclist, a person on the bicyclist. Just wonder what would happen if he had stopped abruptly. There might have been no more cyclist. You need to do your part. You need to help spread bicycle awareness. You need to make sure people understand that bicycles exist. They're literal. They're physical. They exist. You need to help people understand they are not vehicles. You need to help people understand that there are people riding on these bicycles. But more than that, bicycles are better than cars. You know why? A bike. It runs on fat and saves you money. A car? This one runs on money and makes you fat. That's all I have today. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Must subscribe to Syrup Company. Help spread bicycle awareness.